Well, it's been 2 weeks since we last had an IWTR race back at the 16th of January, but now we're here in the 30th of January 2020, actually 2022. It is time for the round 7 of the IWTR World Formula Series Season 3. It is the new venue, the Portuguese Grand Prix at the Autódromo Internacional do Algarve. I'm still your host and your commentator Pazza here. I'm alone again today, so this will be quite a hefty one to take, I would say. But yeah, we're here in a new venue, new track, the Autódromo Internacional do Algarve. So this track, let's just have a go with the track info. This track is located at Portimão, Algarve, Portugal. 4.65 kilometers circuit or 2.89 miles track, 15 corners, 6 to 11, 9 to the right. F1 came here when the COVID pandemic panned out and they decided to choose the new tracks to come in for substitutes for the calendar, so they got in 2020 and 2021, and it will be also our first ever Portuguese Grand Prix in IWTR, so this would be quite a big one to take through. So now, with the track info out of the way, it's time for the championship standings, both the driver standings and the constructors championship. So let's have a look at the drivers championship. As we say, Mitch Johnson still leads the championship by only just 8 points behind the new second place, or the new runner-up right now. It is Plebs. He won the last race in France, in Magny-Cours, but meanwhile Zori Petrojan, who was behind Mitch Johnson at the time, he's now dropped down to third with 52 points and 26 points behind Mitch Johnson. Meanwhile, Prem Pilch also scored a fast lap last race, but only finished 6th on last race. He's only 1 point behind Zori Petrojan, so if he could get a good result here today, he might as well go up to 3rd place in the championship. Now, moving on into the Constructors' Championship, it's fair to say that Red Bull, they definitely catching up in the last race in Magny-Cours. They scored 35 points from Plebs and Bivona. Both of them helped Red Bull up to 2nd place in the championship, and now only just 22 points behind Sauber, as Scuderia Ferrari pretty much, they didn't score any, moving down to 74 points in 3rd, just right behind Red Bull. But also Scuderia Toro Rosso, they came up really high, up to 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. Is 73 points, 56 points behind the leader Sauber, and just only about 8 points, I would say. Actually, yeah, 8 points behind, actually in front of Sahara Force India, who they also have a pretty bad race at France. So the top 5 seems really it was a lot closer than the last 2 races. Well, let's see how it pans out for this race. This track nobody has any experience of until the practice of the qualifying of this race weekend. So we'll just have a look and see who's gonna be coming out on top here in the Portimão circuit. So just have a go on the formation lap and the starting grid of the Portuguese Grand Prix. So it is Mitch Johnson, the championship leader, in the front row and in a pole position as well. He's still got a decent rate qualifying pace. Alex Nizani, probably the first time that he's qualifying in the front row. Actually, maybe his 2nd or 3rd time. I'm sorry about that. But Walter Wagner lines up in 3rd place in the 2nd row alongside Agostino Bivona, who had quite a qualifying session for him in this race. Henry Jack Brown lines up in 5th, Panos Glazer 6th, Luca Farina 7th on 4th row alongside Florence Wilson. She was starting pretty decently in 8th place. Livin Pasalic and Prem Pilch both line up in row 5. Row 6, Adiabakis and Noah Tuamela. Both of them still need some indeed good points coming through this race. Azerbaijan, the one title contender, that's still looking forward to this race, but he's starting in 13th. Sepp Lips also in 2nd place in the championship, but he was way off the track. I mean, a little bit way off, but on the terms of qualifying pace. But he will start in 14th, but he's looking forward to makes a comeback in this race. And then Simon Witt and then Tin Anderson 15 and 16 respectively. Charles Vasquez and Seren Kaya will line up in row 9, sorry. And finally round out the grid is Matthew Falcon and Dylan Hope back at the row 10. 26 laps of the entire race in a Portimao circuit. Mitch Johnson, he has a massive advantage since he's starting on the front row, but also he has to watch out for Alex Insani as well. He might make some pretty interesting moves here into turn 1 at, well, I would say like the Premier corner, in the first corner basically. Walter Wagner was lined up third and everybody. So it seems as though Mitch Johnson's title contenders are all pretty much lined up on the back of the pack, but he still can't let anything goes away for him yet, because the comeback's always sometimes real. So let's see. Every car's lined up onto the grid, including the medical car driver. They all lined up. 5 sets of red lights this time. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here at Portimao. And it's green at Portugal, and it's Mitch Johnson starting really decently coming off from the starting grid, and you can see that Alex Zazani go down the inside. They might have a touch there. Oh, there's a lot of touch on the back as well, but Mitch Johnson edges out in front. Alex Zazani in 2nd place. And Walter Wagner in 3rd, Bivona 4th, Panos Glazer 5th. Oh my goodness me, round the outside goes Florence Wilson. Very good open up, and here he goes now into this hairpin. Brown looking decently up into 7th place, but he dropped back 1 position because of the Prem and Pilch. Meanwhile, he's up 2 positions from the it's just going off the track, but thankfully no damage to his car. Quite a clean start. Nobody have any contact. Actually, there was some contact, but overall it was a clean start after 6 races that we have. Well, obviously somebody have a wing damage or something like that, but this time round nobody has any damage, which is quite surprising. As we see now, as a guy around the outside on Historic Petrugian, he's dropped already 3 positions out from his starting grid, and you can see now it's Farina and Tuamela side by side round into turn 15, and obviously he's gonna go for it, isn't he? And let's have a look on board with Noah Tuamela now. He just plows through, but you can see Simon Witt just on the back of his teammate as well. Oh, Farina's off the track just a tiny bit. But he comes back, but he's on the outside this time around, so I think that might not be worth it for Noah Tuamela. Tuamela gets in front, but Farina comes back at him. But Noah Tuamela has a better exit here coming off. I think it was at turn 5, I think, but Petrugian now coming around it again. Oh, he almost flipped there, if you could see that. He just hit the sausage. He just hit the sausage curved, but wasn't quite enough. He barely flipped over there. Oh, Tuamela lost the traction there. I don't know what happened to him, but anyways, I have to kill the medical guy just a bit. still not dead. Why? Come on. Okay, that should help there. That should help, but let's just have a look at Tuomela's incident for now. What happened to him that made him lost whoa, okay, that's that wasn't clear, but here we go. So, he hit the curb, so that's a huge tank slapper, but he recovered that well enough. Just sliding all over the place there. I think it was turn 7, I think. Barely keeps the car through for Tuomela. But now it is Johnson still in the lead, Sinizani in second place. Wagner in third, ignoring the yellow flag because that's for the medical car. Flandre Wilson up to 5th now. Glazos didn't lose any positions at all, so he still stays in 6th place. Henry Jack Brown 7th, dropped 2 positions from his starting position. There might be some going there. Pedro Jean trying to go round the outside of Tim Anderson, but wasn't quite enough. Pedro Jean fights back on the inside now, into the hairpin, into turn 5. Now down the inside goes. No, Tuomela trying to go follow through with Pedro Jean as well, but I think the 38 blocked him first, but that goes into the 14th now. Big tank slapper there for Luca Farina. There's also a big tank slapper there for Matthew Falcon. And I think I haven't killed the medical car yet, so we'll leave him there. Hopefully he doesn't scratch up and come back to the track. And Mitch Johnson still B1. So it's all about the pit stops now after that. Well, it didn't really have... Or maybe it's a little bit close now. Luca Farina to Tim Anderson, but also if you could see on the flag, that's Tuomela as well, looking to charge there. Glazos fastest lap, 25.312. So Farina tried around the outside, wasn't enough to close in on Tim Anderson now. So lap 4 through the race. Let's just see now. Have a look at Glazos on board. I think there's a crash on the back. There is. That's Lefe Basali losing the front wing, I believe. Let's have a look on board with him. What in the world happened to him? No brakes! Just taking out. And that's... was it? Is that Tim Anderson? Yes, it is. He also gone off. Same incident. How did he avoid that? How did he avoid that? He definitely has some contact, but didn't lose anything. Didn't lose anything, but plebs out of the race. First retirement of the race. Welped. Falcon just gone wide as well. There's a battle as well. Seren Kaya and Dylan Hope. Hope down the inside he goes. And Kaya down the inside. He goes 16th place now. So we see as that you can see Lefe Basali is just really slow because of that front wing damage that he caused. We'll have a look at the incident for that for the stewards. He's taking advantage of that. Dylan Hoped up into 15th because Lefe Basali was holding up Zeren Kaya, and he just take one free position, I believe. Yes, it is. And you can see that the really opportunistic move there. Down the inside goes Dylan Hopes, but also Tim Anderson also taking advantage of that in up to 16th, but Ankaya ain't giving up just yet. He just goes in that on board with Ankaya He just ain't giving up just yet. I think he's just gonna go down the inside into this first corner. Oh, so close, it's so tight indeed into the first corner, and kind of edges ahead in front. And also, oh, Anderson just comes back into turn 3. In 3 and 4 now, and just blasted through back into 16th place. There he goes now, Matthew Falcon. He goes now down the inside, back on Sanankaya, dropping him back to 18th, and also Matthew Falcon up to 17th now. Most positions gained for a driver right now is that it's now a tie between, well, Dylan Hope and I think was actually no. Yeah, it's Dylan Hope right now that has the most positions up from the starting position. So it's 15th for Dylan Hope, back from last to 15th, but it looks as though you can see now Bivona fastest lap once again, 125.1. It's still yellow flags there because of the medical car, so just ignore that. Pilch, he's just right behind Henry Japrat now, as you can see now. Now just coming off turn 4 into turn 5. Was it going to be a good move here? Oh, very close to the rear wing, so it wasn't quite enough to overtake him. As you see now, everybody's pretty much a train at this point because, well, 30 air of these cars and this particularly in this door, Dia back is thing seems like that he left off or somewhat. What's on over here? It's always coming to this corner. Oh, left the track, very, very close indeed between him and Luca Farina, but nice move there. Nice advantage for Luca Farina. Up to 10th now. He's actually he's actually started 7th, dropping 3 places. But he's making up grounds here to try to take back 7th place once again. But sorry, Petrojan. More importantly, it's up to 9th now after starting 13th back in the row 7. Nizani gets the fastest lap, but he's about a second and a half away from Mitch Johnson because of that. You know, the dirty air with also the tyre as well, all have factors on the gap. As we see now, Panos Glazos just right behind his teammate, Felipe Wilson. Wilson, she actually got pretty far, as per usual, into 5th place, up 3 positions from her original starting slot in 8th. But you can see now Pedro Jean about 13 seconds away from Mitch Johnson. You can see the time. It just dropped down to 12 seconds there. But still, looks like Mitch Johnson still trying to gain time to get away from Alex Zani. He's now stretching out to 2 seconds now. It's now to 1.6 now, 1.5, 1.4. I mean, he has a slipstream, but just only a tiny bit. Walter Wagner sets the fastest lap, 124.75. There you can see now, it's also very close. Charles Vasquez, he's really close on the back bumper of the Mana Maruche of Tuamela. Wasn't quite enough to overtake him. Mitch Johnson still in P1, but oh my goodness me, and I think Wagner pretty much really catching up to Alex Zani now at this point. But all he needs is half a second gap to take on Nizani and try to overtake on second place. Because in the meantime, that he's also helping the constructors and also having a better chance of taking moving up a few spots in a championship drivers championship standings. For him, Wagner right now currently sits in P12 in the standings and only 22 points, 56 points behind Mitch Johnson. That's how far he is right now. So if he finished like this in P3, well, he would have gone up. He would get 15 points, and then plus he could have gone up to, well, I would say 9th through 11th place, I would say, or maybe even 8th place. But now he will go to the pits this lap. It's the first round of pit stop, and he's letting away a position to Agostino Bivona, who's pitting next lap. And I think it's gonna be really. And it seems as though Florence Wilson, she's having a battle now with Walter Wagner, who has to go into the pit, both of them. They make contact now into turn 7. They all slowing off, and Glazos lost his front wing. Petrosyan spinning out. Third place in the third place in the championship, spinning out. What's causing him to do this? That's the wing that caused him to spin out. And his title chances is just going off now because he's just waiting for the other cars to go by. And that means he's gonna fall down into 18th basically. Yes, he is, but is he having enough to go back on track? Hopefully he doesn't need to go. He doesn't have. Thank goodness. As Glazos losing his front wing, but now he goes Mitch Johnson, the leader, into the pit he goes. Bivona, he will pit next lap, and you also have, it's 80 kph in the pit lane, not 60 like Monaco or in, for example, Melbourne. But still, pit stop time could ruin your chances, and also with the pit stop traffic. But it's 7.11 seconds for Mitch Johnson, 7.05 for Nizani, 0.06 for Wilson, and Wagner 6.9. Pretty decent stop. Back is 0.09, Farina 0.06, Tormella 0.08, Vasquez 0.13. Pasalic, he's not really going to catch up to anyone here. Plum Lars, I would say. And here goes now Bivona, just maybe limping home through the pits, but also Glazer's not going to the pits yet. I think he's going to go into this lap, I think. Which Jones, Matthew Falcon, also Senengaya as well. Glazers, he's probably holding up a lot of drivers here, as you can see. But sorry, Petrosyan, there he is. Probably a little bit, obviously very frustrated with the front wing. He couldn't avoid it. But now here he goes now. Brown into the pits. He goes. Bivona 7.78. That's pretty terrible comparing to the Sauber. But I think that maybe Petrosyan, he's not really holding up the Sauber, but I think maybe Bivona could come out just in front of Mitch Johnson. Here we go. It's just very close, and Johnson's still in front. But crucially, Bivona up to second now. In front of Nizami. Bivona in 7th place in the championship standings right now. So that's really crucial for him. And it's a well-timed pit stop there for Red Bull. Up into 2nd place for Bivona. And also, you can see Florence Wilson up to 4th. Brown 5th. from both 6th, Wagner 7th, Bacchus now up to 8th, and Farina 9th, Tuamela 10th. Vasquez 11th, hoped into 12th now, 8 positions up from his original starting spot in last. But the most disappointing though was Prix now limping home in 18th place, just in front of Glazos. So it's now or never for Bivona. He has a fresher tyres, but it's only lap 11 right now, so they might need even the 3 stops. Maybe, just maybe, I think. But I think 2 stop probably is enough for them. But we'll have to see about it. As Johnson now starting the 12th lap of the race, which means we're now 11 laps complete through the race. As it is, Johnson still in the lead, Bivona in 2nd, and Nizani in 3rd. Wilson in 4th, is doing pretty decently here, and Brown 5th, Pilch 6th, Wagner 7th, Bacchus 8th, Farina 9th, Tuamela 10th, Vasquez 11th, Hoped 12th, Vit 13th, and you can see now Anderson now down inside lifting Pasalic, but Pasalic's strategy is not really the same for him, not really the same to anyone here, because he already have a wing damage. I mean, he could. I mean, it's probably the same as Panos Glazos, but with his wing just gone off. But with him losing the wing on about lap 5 or 6, he obviously have a different strategy than anyone else with that damage limitation as well. But Matthew Falcon, 16th place, just only 3 positions up from his starting spot. 19. Zeninkaya, 1 position up from his starting spot. It's about, I would say, 3.7 seconds away from Matthew Falcon. Pedro Jean, very disappointing. He lapped through the pits down into 18th now. And Panos Glazos is probably the most damaging guy in the track right now, losing 13 positions back in 19th place. As we see now, as you can see now, I think it's Nazani a little bit of closing up on Bivona, but as you can see, it's not the track is not really that big in terms of the track width. I mean it's fairly big, but if you could see there, but it's like a it's pretty much a roller coaster to the track, because you can see a lot of elevations on the track, which that then means that the passing could be a little bit more difficult than normal circuits, I think. See, unless if anybody makes a mistake and pretty much took that position away. I mean, you can see Bacchus really going wide there in turn 7. But, everyone else I think seems to be pretty okay. But Johnson, he just pulls away with about 3 seconds lead now. I think probably maybe stretched to 4. But Bivona, he's on different strategy on Mitch Johnson. Bivona is absolutely looking to obviously pretty much undercut him. Actually, undercut him. I mean, Mitch Johnson has tried to undercut Bivona, but Bivona obviously is going for overcut. That he's going longer and pit for fresher tyres. Wait, I mean, Mitch Johnson probably, yeah, I think it would be that scenario, I think. But Nizani dropped 1 position from his starting spot, but 1.2 seconds away from Bivona. Oh, Bivona just really going wide there, off into turn 7. Everybody's probably having problems here going wide into turn 7. I think it's probably pretty common. You can see here again, Bacchus just right on the edge on the curbs. Farina also was doing pretty okay, I would say. But we're now halfway through the race, 50% done. Which is, I mean, Mitch Johnson's still in the lead. but could he go dominated throughout the race? That's the question. As you can see now, as his gap's dropping back in the straight, I mean 3.7. You can see now it's 3.3. Also Nizani, let's have a look with Nizani onboard camera. See the wheels. A little bit slight coming off turn 4. But I mean the 30 air probably ruined the chance of overtaking, but I hope that it wasn't as much as it should, hopefully. Oh, that's going really wide there. Oh, Nizani going off very and just tank slapper it. Oh, I think that's Living Pasalic going to the pits, I think. Yes, it is. Is Pasalic into the pits? But with also Mitch Johnson in P1 still. Before in second place after that brilliant first stop from Red Bull. Flondra Wilson up into 4th now. I think it's probably the time that maybe the fuel might come. The fuel might come low at this point, I think. 6 laps, or maybe I would say 7 to 8 laps. That's probably the fuel mileage that these guys have to go through. Or maybe if any of these guys could stretch out to 10 laps, that could be also good as well for the strategy. But it kind of depends on the drivers as well, that how long you sustain that fuel throughout the race and through the pit stops as well. As we see now, I think both the Williams up to 11th and 12th, with Dylan Holt being the main part of it. I think he's up to 8 positions. But he's just about a second behind his teammate, Charles Vasquez. You can see now Simon Witt, reigning world champion from last season, wasn't doing pretty good this race, but actually it's going up 2 positions from his starting point. That's at least a positive for him. But with dirtier and all that stuff, that's dropping it back significantly on the pace. But also same with the other guys as well. It wasn't as we thought that it might be a good race. Maybe only the first couple of laps, but you can see that how much impact the dirty air affects these guys with this aero package as well. So we see now, let's have a look on board with Walter Wagner. See now, just working the steering wheel. These guys are going through there, just sliding a little bit of place the turn 4, but obviously that's probably the main part of controlling the Formula 1 car. Oh, yeah, just going on the curves. You don't really want to go there. If you it's gonna break your car out of the track. Oh, yoy. That's a really worrying situation there for Walter Wagner, but thankfully he's pounced it through. So same goes with Simon Witt there, going off to the curves in turn 7. Oh, big off there, said Kaya. But now let's have a back look, and on lap 17 of 26 now. 24 minutes into the race, and you could see now the fuel mileage on Mitch Johnson's car is coming up. That means his second time full pit stop. Bivona's not, the fuel indicator isn't coming up on his car yet, so that means he's probably have 2 more laps to go for with this stint. Everybody is pretty much using the same tyre compounds, basically the soft tyres, to gain probably the most time on these tyres, but also it would have very short span of lifetime on these tires as well. So they obviously gonna have to match those of two. Oh, Prix is just going absolutely really wide there to turn 7. Just goes really wide. Same goes with Luca Farina. Oh, Tormella, yep. You really don't want to go into that curbs. Yeah, you can see there it's Matthew Falcon once again. Now I think that Mitch Johnson's now probably gonna go to pits next lap, I would say. Next lap on lap 18. Let's have a look with on board with Mitch Johnson, the championship leader in this race. And yep, he's going to the pits this lap. Which that means Bivona could possibly closing up the gaps, I would say. Closing up the gaps. Because now, with Johnson's moving slow, at least he could get some pace out of it, I would say. Yep, his fuel indicator coming up now, which that means he's probably gonna next pit in the next 2 laps. Nizani going to the pit this lap as well. Wilson, he's probably going for a undercut on Alex Nizani. Oh, actually overcut on Alex Nizani, I would say. On Alex Nizani, but you can see that Nizani also struggling into turn 7 as well. See Prix also overcutting. Here goes now Mitch Johnson, just rounding out of turn 14, and now to turn 15, but I think Bivona is probably couldn't catch up to Mitch Johnson. And there you can see now, Johnson into the pit lane, same goes with Alex Nizani, and there he goes. Which time the pit stop that it could be. And Brown up to 3rd now. But he's also needs to pit this lap as well. Johnson 7.5, Nizani 7.4. But also here he goes now on the back. You can see Walter Wagner 7.46 gets in front of Luca Farina. Back is 7.51. Farina 7.54. Back to 15th place. Vasquez 7.41. Falcon 6.68. That's the fastest lap so far. That's the fastest pit stop so far. 7.76, being actually just 0.08 of a second difference between those 2 pit stops. But meanwhile, back on Bivona, he probably have enough gap between him and Mitch Johnson, but we'll see about it. I think because he has to slow down. But if his pit stops are pretty good, possibly like about 6 seconds, that should be enough for him. Into the pit he goes. We'll have 7 laps to go. How is his pit stops gonna be? 4, 5, should be 6 second stop. 6.77. Oh, he's being held up by the traffic. That's Prix. I think that might cost him the lead, maybe, just maybe though. So here he goes now. There's Mitch Johnson just rounding out the final corner now. And where's Bivona? He's just crossing that line once again. Could he come out just in front though? Oh, it's gonna be so tight, but just Mitch Johnson, he just barely ekes out on Bivona and Flondra Wilson out of fuel. No Tormella out of fuel. They should have pitted in the last lap, but no, they don't. But Flondra Wilson out of fuel, and yep, how could they messed up this bad? I have no idea, but we have 2 more retirements because of fuel. Flondra Wilson, jeez. I know Tormella, he could have gone up front, but that wasn't quite enough. So now we have yellow flags now. Back on the track. Oh, Tim Anderson. I think he might have some contact with the other guys. Let's see what happens here. So he just comes on the track. He lost a little bit of control. Oh, never mind. He doesn't have any contact at all. Just come out on the pit road very slowly. So now I think Petrojan probably gained 2 positions, 2-3 positions, I would say. But I think it wasn't quite enough to overtake the championship then. He didn't score any points on this race. So we see now Living Pasalic down the inside on Panos Glazos. A little bit of action here. Just rounds up into turn 6, 7 now. Pasalic down the inside. Oh, make some contact. But Glazos are coming back onto him again. And now Pasalic down the inside. Down from the roller coaster. And then into turn this corner. Oh, it's just really tight. Glazos managed to eke out into 16th. So Pasalic, could he go for it again? Wasn't quite enough, and that's probably it. But he still have a chance on turn on a straight. If he didn't screw up the turn 15, maybe just a tiny bit, but I think maybe that was enough. 410 is just really going down so quickly. He has a slipstream. He does gonna go for it now into turn 1, and oh, it's gonna be very tight. Glazos not giving up just yet. Down the inside he goes Pasalic, and oh, it's going down the inside. He's still going side by side here. As Glazos just down the inside wasn't enough. Pasalic has the better exit. Goes up into 16th place for Pasalic. A little bit of action here for this track and this race, but it's on the back of the field. It's not even at the front of the field at all. But now Pivona 1.4 seconds behind. Mitch Johnson, he could maybe go for it. But you can see now the speed difference, it's now 900ths of a second. So if he could get a better exit, or maybe if Mitch Johnson making a mistake, maybe, just maybe though, just maybe, he could have gone even further now. So it's just one second away. So he goes now. Oh, Johnson's losing a little bit of rear end. So this could be a corner to decide everything now. Into turn 7 to go. And Johnson very, very wide. Meanwhile, Bivona doesn't really hurt that much on that sector on turn 7. Pretty much closing up now on Mitch Johnson here, as we see now. Very close to right. Into turn 13. He goes. He has about 8/10ths of a gap. And his corner's exit is pretty good. Going to this corner. It's 1 second away. So 9/10ths, 8/10ths, 7/10ths. He's just catching up so quickly now. But you can see on Mitch Johnson's view, he's just like, oh no, this couldn't happening. He might have got challenged by Algarve Vivona now. So let's see if he's gonna be able to take home maybe the win, because we only have 4 laps to go. It's a little bit actually 3 laps to go. It's not a little bit time slapper here. 17, which is really close now. This is gonna be a very hard charging now, but all Bivona has to do, he has to make no mistakes at all, and hoping for Johnson to make a mistake. He goes wide. Oh, Bivona! Oh, he just catch it, but that's gonna cost him time, and lost 1.8 seconds away, and now it's 2 seconds. Oh, that cost him quite significantly. that mistake, but oh my goodness me. And now it seems though that Anderson is just going absolutely really wide here. But a Falcon, he might just have, could have a chance now. 6 tenths, 8 tenths. Oh. But it's just really close now, but Bivona probably has not have enough gap now. You see on the bottom here, lap 25 is now begin. He was just really close there, but you can't afford any mistakes if I'll be honest. You can't afford any mistakes whatsoever to try to catch up to the guys in front. But now Bivona has lost that chance. He could have gone way closer than the last lap, but now it's only 2 to go. So we hope that. So he has to hope that Johnson made a mistake on this corner. And coming this corner, oh, just going wide. Same goes with Bivona. Lizardi also, but Henry Jack Brown. Oh, yikes! That's a big tank slapper. Oh boy, that could end it in. That could end it in very dramatic way for Walter Wagner there. But that's still, it wasn't quite enough now. As here we go, round to find a corner for Mitch Johnson to start the final lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix. How is it gonna happen? How is it gonna end? We'll have to wait and see here in the final lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix. But you can see now Bivona just right behind him now. Final lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix has begun. And here goes Johnson down the first corner, really pretty fine. Through into turn 3 now. And up into turn 4. Hopefully he doesn't make it. Hopefully that. Oh, no mistakes for him. A little bit, but he still gains the grounds, but he lost time here. And you can see, oh, Bivona closing really much, very much there. And it's just only 1.6 seconds away. And goes down Johnson. Goes really wide. Not really the same for Bivona. I don't think was it quite enough? I would say no. But now here goes at 1.4 seconds. Before that, could he catch up in these few corners? But now back on the back. Oh, yeah, Vasquez. And now these 3 cars is on the pack now. You can see. Oh my goodness me! A very big tank slapper for Tim Anderson. He still stayed on pretty okay. But now it seems as though Mitch Johnson, he's going to continue that win for him. Win number 3 for Mitch Johnson. He wins the Portuguese Grand Prix here at the Portimao circuit. Oh wow, and Bivona, it looks as though he could catch up to Mitch Johnson and overtake him, but that costly mistake in lap 24 cost him the chance of the victory. Alex Zani, very, very good race indeed for him. Pretty much swing home for a 3rd place finish, but he's dropped back 1 position. But he holds his own pretty decently. Henry Jack Brown's a 4th place, Prem Pooch 5th, 6th. Backers up into 7th place, very decent for him, getting the points for the Mercedes team, who has been on the back of the pack very badly in the last couple of races. Luca Farina 8th place for Scuderia Toro Rosso, and then Dylan Holt in 9th place, 11 positions up from his starting grid in 20th. Maybe he's probably the driver of the day, but we'll have to wait and see for the fans that have to vote for him. Charles Vasquez, the last point scorer in this race, makes up 7 positions. Best lap 125.0. Simon Rivett 124.997 for his first lap time, but couldn't quite make it into points in the point scoring positions. Tim Anderson 12th, Matthew Falcon 13th, Ankaya 14th, sorry Bridget Jean very disappointing 15th place, but damage limitation that he have wasn't quite enough. I mean, yeah, just really disappointing for him. Panos Glazos 16th, Pasalic 17th. Very nice battle there with Panos Glazos at the final, a couple of laps to the end. But surprisingly, nobody's taken a 3-start. Actually, Livid Pasalic, I think he did. But it is a win for Mitch Johnson here at the Portimao Circuit. Congrats to him. Really job done for him. That he absolutely dominated the race with the Sauber team. Actually, who gets the fastest lap time? Fastest lap time was Florence Wilson, 124.727. That is pretty nice. And that's pretty much it for the IWTR Portuguese Grand Prix. And well, the next round, we're heading to the home of the British motor racing. It is, of course, the British Grand Prix at the Silverstone Circuit. One of the most historical tracks in the entire world. And it's also play host to some of the very exciting races in IWTR as well. And also that it will be taking place in the 13th February 2022. And well, I mean, it's actually, we're having a mid-season break during this next week, so yeah, it would be a nice 1 week off for you guys to watch it for. And we'll definitely hope that that 1 week is probably enough to get you maybe really excited for the next race at Silverstone. So I would definitely hope for a better race there at Silverstone, so let's see what happens. So if you like this kind of content and wanted to see more of these, make sure to subscribe to the International World Tour Racing channel, where you can leave a like, share or a comment down below. And also, if you'd like to join this league, I'll put Discord link in the description below. And that's it from me today. I'm Pausa, your host and your commentator, signing off for today. Goodbye everyone.